Minecraft and the purpose of life.
But now, for the moment that you have all been waiting for, Notch is going to officially release Minecraft.
Minecraft was released in 2011, and right after its debut, it gained massive popularity, sparking thousands of YouTube channels, some of which growing to phenomenal highs. And to many kids and teenagers growing up in the 2010s, this soundtrack should strike a feeling of nostalgia and even melancholy. The concept of the game is also quite melancholic to say the least. You are thrown into a world alone, a world of endless possibilities, where you are by yourself nonetheless. Everything you do for survival. You have no family, no friends, no loved ones, and no human interaction. Alone in this cube-shaped world, where everything is out to get you, you live. But for what? The very concept of Minecraft can be considered what existentialism refers to as the absurd, the evident purposelessness and meaninglessness of the universe, and the desire for meaning and purpose even when coming in contact with it in our lives. The question is, does Minecraft have a purpose? What is the meaning in Minecraft? Do our lives have a purpose? Well, Minecraft does have a meaning, and it is a perfect mirror copy of our lives. This is what this video is going to explore. Let's begin at the start of the game. The moment you create a new world, you are thrown into it as a character named Steve. We don't know anything regarding the circumstances of the game or what happened before we entered it. All that is evident is that Steve seems to be the only human remaining and has to survive in a world where everything is out to get him. An apocalyptic scenario to say the least. Creepers, zombies, skeletons, and other not too friendly mobs. Did Steve choose to end up in these circumstances? Or did any of us decide to be born at a specific time and place to hand-choosing parents? Probably not. And this is where we can encounter the concept of thrownness introduced by the existentialist philosopher Martin Heidegger. The concept states that we are thrown into the world without our consent or any prior knowledge. It refers to the fact that we are born in a particular time, place, and set of circumstances. You cannot control where or at what time you are born. You can come to this world at a time of peace and prosperity, or during the Second World War in Soviet Russia. Steve couldn't control his fate either. I'm sure, given the choice, he would choose to live in our world at our time, even though it is messed up in its own ways. To deal with thrownness, we must make sense of our existence and find our place in the world without any prior instructions or guidance. This challenge can lead to feelings of confusion, disorientation, and a sense of being lost. You might remember the first time you encountered this concept in practice, even though you were not aware of it at the time. All of us at some point end up questioning life and our surrounding circumstances. Some, like those of us who grew up in a poor neighborhood and on social support programs, might have experienced these questions sooner. But most of us have questioned life in moments of complete emptiness or harsh difficulties. For me personally, it was on a warm, sunny summer day in a car coming back from a visit to my grandmother at the time around my grandfather's passing. I don't remember much, except for a feeling of sadness and questioning the nature of existence, especially when seeing my grandma so devastated after the loss, along with her wish to continue living alone in the same house my grandfather built 50 years ago on the other side of the country. Why is the world so harsh? Why does grandma have to be experiencing this? Will this happen to my parents and to me at some point? Maybe it was around 10 or 11 years old, and this might seem funny that at this kind of age you're questioning your whole existence, but I bet many of us had gone through some similar situations. However, to be able to ask these questions, we must have the luxury to even be able to ask them. After the initial wonder of the world sets down, along with the sun, in-game, the player is immediately confronted with the need to survive. That means making yourself a shelter, getting food, after that making yourself more comfortable, getting some windows, maybe paintings, upgrading to new and better tools. However, eventually, the player, just like Steve, might ask, What am I doing it for? What is the end goal of Minecraft? And coming back to our own plane of existence, what is the goal and purpose of our lives? Existentialist Albert Camus states that once a person gets tired of his mundane life and routine, he comes in contact with the absurd. He sees the self-evident lack of purpose in his life. To not live in a constant nihilistic mindset, we must find the answers to the before-mentioned questions. Some of us have the answer given to us at an early age by an already present structure in the world in the form of religion, effectively putting our purpose and fate at the hands of a higher deity. Others find the answer later in life for a specific worldview or philosophy. However, some, unsatisfied with the answers provided by society, have to find the meaning by themselves. A Holocaust survivor and a renowned psychiatrist, Viktor Frankl, in his book Man's Search for Meaning, wrote that it is not the person who asks, what is the meaning of life, but it is life itself who asks, what is your meaning? Why do you live? Even though Minecraft has no story, it could be said that it has something of a goal, slaying the Ender Dragon. And the task is not easy. Effectively, the player has to successfully master his surroundings and acquire vast resources to even be able to find the dragon. Dragons, or ferocious creatures, present in our collective unconscious and folklore throughout the whole world, have a specific connotation, a threat and a challenge to be overcome in order to acquire something of value. The most well-known version of the story is a knight saving the princess from a dragon-guarded castle. However, the dragon is a symbol of fear, overwhelming odds and desperation. Everyone has a dragon they are currently facing. Our lives are full of problems and hardships, and the one dragon that everyone has to face in one form or another is the question: what are you going to do with your life? What is your meaning? The answer to this question might change throughout one's life. However, the hole this question opens up must always be answered, or else the person ends up in depression and nihilistic tendencies at best. And, at worst, he chooses to leave life with his own hands. That is exactly why this dragon inside all of us is so dangerous and must be slayed over and over again if the need arises. Depending on your worldview, life might be wonderful, hard, or maybe pointless. No matter the answer, we must acknowledge the absurdity of it and embrace it. Even though our lives are challenging, or maybe even suck, the fact remains that it is our lives, and we are the ones who can give it meaning. Our lives are meaningful because they are ours, and we choose what we do with them. In the routine and absurdity of it all, we can find meaning. Just like Steve after slaying the dragon and going back to the endless potential of his day-to-day life, we can find happiness. One must imagine Steve alone in his apocalyptic world, happy.